S.H.I.F.T as our guest today. She has a passion to empower others to discover and maximize their core abilities, which has led her to be a life coach, church disability ministry consultant, and a mentor for mothers of children with special needs. She's a certified youth mental health first aid USA instructor, John Maxwell Team certified speaker, trainer and parenting and family coach, and American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, presenter and a field advocate. Mrs. S.H.I.F.T is the author of 5 books, and her programs include More Than a Phase, which provides mental health awareness, training, and education. Teen Recovery, which is a character development and leadership program for teenagers and family connect, which provides parent and family coaching and workshops. Her training also includes degrees, certificates, and professional licensures in business, investments, real estate, and theology. She currently resides in Maryland with her husband and 3 children, one of whom has special needs. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited.
Thank you for having me. You ready? Or
yes.
do you want to wait
No, you can take off. I mean, we're gonna record this, and so people can always come back to it and take a listen.
Okay. Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for having me. I hope you're all doing good in the pandemic and all the stay-at-home, shelter-in-place, or quarantine. Today we're going to be talking about, can you S.H.I.F.T shift, embracing the unexpected. To say we're living in unprecedented times is an understatement. As Charles Dickens wrote in his book, A Tale of Two Cities, and I quote, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair." That's where we are right now. The world in recent times has not had a crisis on such a global scale. It has impacted not only social interaction, but health and healthcare, the economy, business, employment, education, and even the financial markets. Governments are scrambling right now. They don't know what to do. Healthcare is overwhelmed. Supply chains are broken. Education is disrupted. Life as we once knew it has almost come to a screeching halt. Yet in the midst of this, some businesses are flourishing. For example, the video call app called Zoom. It has, with people across the country being quarantined or sheltering at home or staying in place, it has more than quadrupled. It's now 58 times revenue and has gained 19% since February 19th compared to the S&P 500, which plunged 32% over the same period. Why Zoom? Zoom is known for its reliability, its accessibility, and fun features. It's also free up to 40 minutes with 100 or less participants. And on March 13th, Zoom started removing the 14-minute call limit for free accounts at tens of thousands of schools in the US and in other countries as well. So what can we learn from this? S.H.I.F.T shift to embrace the unexpected. The S stands for stop. Just stop. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Take stock of who you are, your personality traits, your aptitudes, your values, and also what you have. Your relationships that you can leverage, your resources, either financial, you might have some equipment or some trainings and stuff that you've acquired along the way. Now, when we talk about your personality, we talk about things that are important to you. Your personality traits. You might be a natural born leader. You might be a people person. You might be more of an introvert. Those are your traits. Those are the things that empower you make you you, make you unique, make you stand out, make you different from everyone else, even those in your field. You know, a lot of times people look at some industries and they're like, oh, there are a gazillion people in there. What do I have to offer? You have you to offer. Two people might be trained in the same thing, have the same certifications, have the same years of experience, but still bring something different to the table. You're unique. Nobody else can deliver it the way you deliver it. Nobody else can operate within the same hemisphere, within the same influences and the same resources. You bring a flavor that nobody else can bring to the table. Then the next thing we do while we stop is look at your values. What are important to you? Are you interested in achievement, in status, or you prefer autonomy? Those are the kind of things that determine what you do and how you do it. Then we look at aptitude. A lot of times we take things for granted. There's some things that are just innate. We're born with it. And we think it's the same for everyone else. It's not the same for everyone else. Some people have to work so hard to do things that you make look easy. You can wake up, there's some people, you can wake them up in the middle of the night from deep sleep, and they can give a speech. They can speak and convince people to join them in a cause. There are others that would have spent hours agonizing, taking notes, revising notes, and still not have the same impact because it is an innate thing. They're born with it. There are also some aptitudes that we have gained along the way through training, through experience. And there's some that it's not so much what we have acquired, but it's the capacity to learn something. There's some people, it's easier for them, they have an aptitude for math. So it's easier for them because of that aptitude for math to do well in the sciences compared to somebody whose aptitude is more verbal or more cognitive. So it depends on what you have. So those are the things you need to sit down and write down. There's nobody that doesn't have something. We all have something. That's the good thing about God or life or whatever you want to call it. Everybody has something. But a lot of times we focus so much on what we don't have that we forget what we do have. That is the S. Just stop and take stock of who you are and what you have. The next is the H. And that means is for hone, which means to practice, to improve, to perfect your gifts or traits or talents or aptitudes. So you need to develop them. Yes, you might have an innate ability to do something and an ease in doing something, but it takes hard work and discipline to get to the place of expertise. So you can't just rest on talents alone. It's a dime a dozen. There are millions of people that are talented out there that never accomplish anything in life. Why? Because they don't add hard work and discipline to it. So while you're honing your skills, yes, your aptitude will give you a head start. But by the time you add the hard work and discipline, it helps you in the long haul. As Thomas Edison puts it, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So the I is for innovate. We need to be able to pivot. We must be flexible and not rigid. Build off what you already have. Take, for example, you're a baker, but your institution has been shut down right now, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't even open your store or anything right now. Go online. Teach people to bake. Link up with other bakers who are not as experienced as you and run an online training for them. Teach children how to bake. Have a session for teaching children. There are people that their kids are home right now and they're thinking of ways to occupy them. So think outside the box. Be ready to innovate. Be ready to pivot. Another thing to do is to collaborate with others. If you look out there on the world scene, you see unlikely bedfellows. You see companies and organizations partnering up that in times past will never have ventured into the field because they can see the need on the ground. Right now, with healthcare being overwhelmed and lack of resources in that area, a lot of companies are collaborating with each other to provide gear for for the healthcare workers and to also provide equipment like ventilators and things that are of utmost necessity right now, but we are short in supply. For example, automakers have begun to collaborate with each other and other businesses to meet healthcare needs. Ford Motor and General Electric's healthcare division announced on Monday that they are collaborating to produce 50,000 ventilators over the next 100 days to help meet the need. General Motors also plans to collaborate with Ventec Life Systems, a ventilator manufacturer, to make even more ventilators. And Tesla, the electric car company, intends to make ventilators with Medtronic. So we see people going out of their lane, as it were. I mean, what are oil makers having to do with ventilators? Others are linking up with 3D companies to produce the N95 9H masks that are in such short supply. So you see people going outside. So what resources can you bring to the table? Excuse me. Who can you collaborate with in this season to meet the needs during and post-pandemic? So those are the things that we need to sit down and begin to strategize. The days of the superstar are coming to an end. It's going to take teamwork. There's something I have that I can add to what you have, that we can add to the third person, that will produce a product or a service that is sorely needed in this season. But it's not going to be a case of, oh, it's I did it, or you did it, or the third person did it. It's going to take collaboration. So the mantra in this season is synergy. The interaction or cooperation of two or more to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. Now, the F is for forge. We need to establish credibility in the season. We need to build an identity of integrity and excellence. Over-deliver. Credibility is the quality of power to inspire belief. It's the quality of being convincing or believable. We need to be consistent. We shouldn't operate at 100% today and the next time be at 30% and then 60%. We need to be consistent in our deliverables. We need to showcase our achievements. This is the time to blow your trumpet. You need to let those that you're inviting or that you're offering your goods and your services to at this time. You need to let them know your achievements. You need to let them know your recognitions, your endorsements. You need to showcase them on your websites and in your communications. Be knowledgeable. Do what it takes to remain on the cutting edge of your industry. Study. Take online classes. There are a lot of good online classes that are either for free or discounted in this time. Show empathy for others. Be sensitive, intuitive. Be responsible. Own up to your mistakes and make restitution when necessary. Be competent. Be efficient. Have integrity. Let your word be your bond. Even if things change and it's now going to cost you, let your word be your bond. Be exceptional. Do things with excellence. Go above and beyond. Over-deliver. Be loyal. The next is the T for transmit. You need to package and transfer the knowledge you have gained through experience, the lessons learned, the new developments, the new discoveries you made along the way. Mentor others. Teach. Train. Replicate yourself. If success ends with you, you have not succeeded. Success, to be true success, must outlive you. As a business owner, This could mean setting up a franchise for others, establishing licensing agreement arrangements, forming distributorships, opening new branches or satellite offices. Another way to transmit or replicate is to identify sets of best practices along with the conditions under which they thrive. Now, with this, you create standards of operations. And through this, you can help up and coming employees in your corporation or organization or budding entrepreneurs on how to thrive and succeed. COVID-19 has irrevocably changed the way we do business. We must S.H.I.F.T, shift, to capitalize on these underlying changes in order to succeed. We must stop to take stock of who we are and what we have. We must hone our gifts and aptitudes through hard work and discipline. We must innovate, pivot, collaborate. Synergy is the mantra. We must forge and establish credibility by building an identity of integrity and excellence. And we must transmit and replicate by mentoring others.
This is amazing. Thank you so much. First and foremost, I mean, this is exactly what so many people need to hear at this time. I mean, I wish we had more people join in, but like I said, I'm glad that we're going to save this because this is going to help so many people out. I mean, even for me, you mentioned so many things and touched on so many different things that resonated with me that I know that I can take away from this and now use it in my day-to-day life as we know it now. But I just want to ask you a few questions, and for those who are with us, if you have any questions as well, please feel free to type in the comment section. But for people who have particularly lost their jobs at this time or who are financially struggling, how do they apply this method of shift? Some people are just so down. They've lost hope. They don't even know like where to begin in terms of how to start over, especially in the crisis that we're in right now, in the pandemic that we are in right now. How do you what words do you say to them at this time? How do they navigate this new world as we know it?
Yeah, it can be really, really scary, especially if one is the breadwinner and everything is dependent on you. But like I said, the first thing we need to do is just stop. Because a lot of times when we get blindsided or the unexpected happens, we react. We're quick to react.
Right.
And a lot of times we're not being rational. We panic and make bad decisions. So the first thing is stop. Just calm down and begin to take baby steps, logical steps.
Right.
Like I said, when you stop, because when things happen, we tend to focus on the negative, and it seems like there's no positive. Right. But if you calm down and begin to write things down, write down what you're good at, write down what you enjoy, write down those things, make a list. In the process of making that list, you will begin to see things that you look out there, you see needs out there. There might be some things you can begin to, people you can connect with, people you can reach out to, that they have resources, but they're looking for manpower.
Right.
They're looking for people to come alongside them. And in the process of working with them, you might get some remunerations or some support, but you're also putting yourself out there because this will pass. It's not going to end like this. So we're coming out on the other side. And the way you position yourself in this season is either going to contribute to how quickly you recover, or it might actually slow you down in the recovery process.
Completely agree. And another question I had for you touched a lot about innovation and stepping outside of the box, re-strategizing, going back to what you feel is your God-given purpose or your strengths. How do you encourage people to then execute? Because like you said, there's so many people that have great ideas. They're talented. They they have a million and one things they want to put down on paper, but when it actually comes to execution, they find it hard to actually go through with it. What is your advice to people who maybe just are trying to figure out like the right direction to go to actually make their dreams come to fruition?
Well, people that are, trying to put things together and trying to strategize and pivot. Let's take, for example, now with the needs out there in the current climate, there are people that are very good seamstresses. A lot of hospitals and healthcare facilities are asking for cloth face masks.
Right.
Now, they're not as effective as preventing infection, but they're used in other areas of the hospital that are not dealing with people that are already positive for the virus. And in some cases, they're better than nothing. So can you imagine if someone, maybe they worked in another field, but they have a machine at home and can sew, and they start working on this. And then in the process, an organization links up with them and hires them to mass produce. And in the process, they have to get other seamstresses together. They've built a business already.
For sure. Completely.
Yeah, so they've built a business already. So it's little things like that, just by looking at needs around, looking at things that it could be somebody who has access to a company that produces things that are in short supply in the market right now,
right,
and can transport those things to people that have a need and are willing to pay. So there are different things we can look at. We just have to think outside the box and just break the mold.
I completely agree. So I think as we kind of round up, what are your last final words? What would you want someone to hear from you in their house right now that is still probably trying to put together this understanding of shift and move forward? What are some words that you have to leave with them to actually start to get through this acronym and work towards, making a change during this time?
I think one of the main things is don't lose hope. Look for the good, because we tend to focus on the negative, and it's like nothing's working, nothing. Everything is just gloom, doom, and despair.
Right.
But even in the midst of all that, there's always something.
For sure.
There's always a silver lining. Look for the good in everything. Like I was talking to some friends a few days ago, and we were just giving thanks for technology.
Right.
Can you imagine if we had this pandemic and we had no way of checking up on friends and family, and you hear that in an area 100 people died and you have family living there or you have friends living there, everyone will be in a constant state of panic.
Right.
But we can reach out to each other, we can video call, even those in quarantine, those in isolation. It's physical distance, but there's still social connection.
Right.
So there's still something to be thankful for.
Yeah.
So focus on the good. Just look for the good, and that would help you. It just totally change your mindset and make you more open to new ideas.
I completely agree. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you taking out your time. I know you're a mother and you're a wife and you wear so many different hats, and so for you to take out time to speak with us today, I mean, we really truly appreciate it. I know that the words that you've said today will really be a blessing to so many different people, and I'm looking forward to having you back again under better circumstances, hopefully in person. But yeah, we truly appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye.